Are you ready for 3 great low-cost marketing ideas for brick and mortar small businesses? Let's go. So to be clear, as long as you are a brick and mortar and a small business, this might work for you. That means you could be restaurants or retail. Maybe you have products that you sell at a farmer's market. Some of these might not work in that situation, but as long as you have a physical location and you're a small business, these are built for you. Now, before I get into the actual marketing tips, please remember that marketing is only as good as the business that it represents. So make sure you shored up your first impressions first. And your deliverables while we're at it. Because if someone is turned off by walking up to the front of your door, or they try to order from you and buy from you and it turns out to be a crappy product, a terrible breakfast, or whatever, marketing is not going to save you. But let's assume you've got the deliverables sorted, you're pretty solid here, you got a great look in place. Let's talk about how to get some people into it. Let's start by building some loyalty. If you've got a brick and mortar, you probably already have at least some people coming through the door. Your goal should be to make sure that those people who you've already walked into your store want to stick around and come back again and again and again and again. Now there's 2 parts to this, and most people only focus on the first. The first being get them onto your mailing list or get them to follow you on social media, but get them plugged in and connected with you somehow. Get them to agree to being on a text campaign or something. And we'll see these a lot of times, either, at the host stand or at checkout. There will be a sign that says, follow us on social media, or, opt in for a coupon or whatever, right? You'll see something that is like, hey, let us have your contact information and we'll make it worth your while. Now that's great because now you can hopefully stay in touch with this person. I think one of the big keys to this that sometimes gets overlooked because some of the big companies are not really good at this is make sure that your staff has scripts to invite people to plug in on social media or get on the mailing list or get on the text chain in a non-pushy way. Make sure your staff is excited about getting people on the list, because your staff, how they feel about it as they're inviting people to be on that list, or you, is how your prospect is, your client is going to feel, customer is going to feel as well. If your person feels like they're having to push it, then the person who's receiving it, the customer, is also going to feel like they're being pushed. Now, I did say there's 2 parts here, and most people don't even think about the second. The second being, you want to get them talking about you. Now, this falls under building brand loyalty, because if I get someone to talk about me, I now become part of their brand identity. If I get someone to post about me on social media, if I get someone to go to their friends and say, OMG, you have to check out what Stephanie's doing, I become a piece of their identity. They have now put their word behind promoting me. And 2 things happen here. 1, I get in front of their friends, network, etc. That's phenomenal. 2, the other piece that's really important is they are now more likely to come back and buy from me again, because they believe in me, because they need to be congruent with themselves being the person who promoted me, and they want to be congruent with that, so they are more likely to come back and spend more with me again down the road. Now that said, how do you actually do this? Because this doesn't work if it's forced upon them. It has to be spontaneous. So one of the most important things you can do is give them something really cool to take pictures of that they want to post on their social media. So you could have maybe a, you'll see those carved out cutouts with like the face thing where people will be like, right? You could have that. You could have a really cool looking, let's say you're a Mexican restaurant. It may seem like a real waste of money, but spend a few $1,000s to get a giant freaking sombrero set up that is held up that people can pose under. Because that's something they pose under, they post it on social media, and now it becomes something. Get a mural painted outside the wall, outside the building, that people want to take. Those ones with the wings, everyone's got Instagram photos of that. I don't know why, but they do. If you're a restaurant, do something really, really cool with how you plate and serve the food so that they want to take pictures of it and show it to their friends on social media. If you're a retail shop, set up a really swanky, cool changing area, or have an area, a chill area. Find something to set up that people will look at and be like, hey, that's neat. So number 1, build brand loyalty. Number 2, host events. Now, I am not just saying this because I put on events for a living. Events are actually a really phenomenal way to market a small business, and not enough people are doing them or doing them well. We're still, at least at time of filming, kind of coming out of the whole COVID thing, and people are starting to do more events, but they're not happening at the level they were previously. you still have the chance to get a little bit more attention than you would have gotten even 3 years ago. Now remember, you can always start really small with these. For example, there is a local Irish bar here in San Antonio that my husband and I love going to. They only opened about a year ago, and on Wednesday nights they started doing an Irish jam session. Now when they first started doing this Irish jam session every Wednesday night, like I think there was 1 or 2 people there, and I'm pretty sure they were like seated by the owner. Like the owner went to his friends and said, hey, I'm gonna do this jam session. Would you please come and like play and have fun? Because we kind of need to get the ball rolling here, right? We have to have a first follower. We got to get some momentum going. And now the Wednesday night jam sessions will actually be filled out. You have fun music. It's kind of a crazy environment and atmosphere, but they've been going for a long time now. They've been consistent, and they did start small, but now they actually do a great job, not just bringing people back to the location, but also giving the location something to talk about beyond, hey, we have cool food. Come get our cool food. Hey, we're an Irish bar. Come to our, like they have something else to talk about. Hey, did you hear this guy at the jam session? Go off, and they have more to put out there for their followers. So some quick ideas to try and actually fill the event once you've decided, okay, we're going to host an event. We're going to host a happy hour. We're going to host a tasting. We're going to host whatever. Let's actually get the word out about this. Well, the nice thing about you being brick and mortar is you probably have people around you. So get some flyers, and first of all, make sure they're posted in your actual location for at least a week or 2 prior to the event. This should be posted by the bathrooms, because people are always like kind of slowing down as they're walking up to the bathrooms, by the host stand, by the checkout, by the registration. It could be posted by the door, it could be whatever. Make sure they're posted around the store, and have a few flyers out. Don't make this a one-time, tiny little thing that people have to like go hunt to try and find. And while you're at it, print up a few extra flyers and go distribute it in the area around you. If you're in a strip mall, give it out to the other locations, the other brick and mortars in your place. If you're by a neighborhood, go walk the neighborhood and literally drop off these flyers, as long as that's legal to do. And hey, whenever someone is asking about the event and looking at the flyer while inside the store, tell them about it, and then don't forget to invite them to share it on social media, because see the previous point where if they talk about you, they're more likely to actually show up for it. Next up, you can always get some social media ads running. You can post about it on social media. Social is actually a really great tool, and just ask people to interact with it. Hey, we're doing this event. Even if you can't join us, could you like, comment, just help try and get us a little bit of additional exposure. Lastly, partner with other local small businesses in your area to cross promote. Find some other businesses that maybe aren't in the same strip mall as you, but they are across the street or over or wherever. Ask them if they'll help put up flyers about it, and then be willing to do the same when they're doing the same for you as well. So if hosting your events is number 1 for promoting your local brick and mortar, then number 2 is going to be own your social media presence. Like actually own it, like dominate that thing, not in a creepy way. When I say you need to own your social media presence, yes, you should actually own all of your online profiles on whatever platforms mean the most to you. But I also think that you should be checking for yourself online regularly. Be part of local groups in your area. These could be Reddit groups, Facebook groups, etc. And there are groups, I guarantee, subreddits and groups that are in your area talking about what you do. You should be a member of those, because you should be checking in at least once a week, at the very least once a month, to actually run a search through all the posts for people talking about something similar, or even talking about you, so you can be involved and help guide that local conversation. And I mean, yeah, obviously you should be posting to your social media as well. Like that, I think, is a given. And number 3, as a local brick and mortar business, participate in other people's events. So I know this, here's the thing. Events work for brick and mortar because they require people to come into a single place. So you hosting events brings people to you, but you going and participating in a farmer's market or a balloon festival happening locally or a golf tournament, you going and having a booth that showcases what you do, what makes you special, gives people the chance to have exposure to you that they wouldn't have otherwise. And if it's a locally happening event, there's a decent chance that they are local to the area, and therefore that much more likely to actually come connect with you and try and do something, like come out and support you. So find the other local events that are happening and get plugged in. I'm gonna wrap up with this. I know that everything I just talked about requires time. It requires energy. But that's the thing with marketing. See, all too often we have this idea in our heads that I can just throw money at marketing and it should work. But marketing works in an exponential compound effect way. Marketing works when multiple things come together, and that includes when you are investing, yes, maybe money, but especially time and energy. And it's going to take energy to get the ball rolling for yourself. But that is That is being a small business owner. This is what we're here for. You're doing this because you care about your business, what you provide being better than those around you. So don't you think it's worth it for you to put a little bit of energy into getting other people to have the chance to see how great you are? Just a little bit of food for thought. It may take some energy, but you've already invested so much in your business. Don't you think it's worth this too?